Well, hello, Megan.
Hey, hi, Dan.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too. Thanks for taking the time.
Thanks for coming on. I talked to your sister before.
I know she's the best.
Yeah, and I'm gonna
I
have you
love her.
tell. I'm gonna have you. I liked her a lot myself, but
Oh, good.
I'm gonna have you tell her about her and your relationship and all that stuff. Because what I want you to do is bring me and everybody watching up to speed. Who are you?
Oh, okay. So I'm Megan. I live in California. I'm a mother of two. I have a 10-year-old and a 7-year-old. I work full time as well. And then I've been a member of the church since I was 17. So, gosh, it's been 25 years. And yeah, it's been a great ride.
Wow, wow. Okay. What was life like for you before you found the gospel?
Dan, it was more, I would say it's more lonely. Like I felt pretty lonely. Like I felt like I was searching for something.
Mhm.
I always consider my life in two different aspects. I always refer to it as light and darkness. And I just felt like before I found the church, it was a period and a time where I felt dark. And when I was attending other or like studying out other religions, it just wasn't something where like the God that I saw was one that was like a personable, warm God. And then I never felt that. And then when I found the church, it's something that it was inviting, and I found the God that I believed God to be, which was someone that was a loving God. So
Interesting.
before the church, I think it was something that's like that's really how it felt. It just felt the contrast of just kind of feeling like in a darker place, but in a searching place where I was trying to seek out answers.
So what did you do, like a church tour? Did you like
It's kind of a wild story. So my twin sister and I had a family, and the family was uh they they would just ever since we were the age of 11, we befriended their daughters, and then ever since the age of 11, they um just answered our questions. In fact, I
Mhm.
would stay up with the I particularly remember speaking at like staying up with the father, just like quizzing him, because I felt like an inquisitive kid and just always curious. And I didn't understand organized religion, and I don't think I believed in organized religion.
Right.
And so I ended up befriending these girls, and then they kind of took us along, my twin sister and I, along for the ride. And so I remember them taking us to a baptism, and then at the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And then I also remember them um having us attend like a church fund, like going to Sunday school with them.
Mhm.
And then separately from that, we've had this friendship for years. And then around the age of 17 years old, my twin sister separately, I think during a time when our family was going through a rough patch, ended up seeing a Lamb of God video
Mhm.
on when they when they advertised for those, and there's like literally a VHS. And she ends up calling the MTC and connecting with someone at the MTC, a missionary there. And the missionary's like, well, it comes with missionaries that are going to deliver it. And my twin sister was like, hey, I don't really feel comfortable with missionaries coming into our home. It's kind of a tumultuous place right now. And she ends up telling this missionary our story, and the missionary got emotional. And men in our family didn't really cry. Um, Nothing visibly that we saw. And then
Mhm.
it really touched my sister. And so we ended up having this Lamb of God video that came by. My sister told me about it in passing. And then I come in one day after school, and these missionaries are sitting in my living room. And Dan, I just quizzed them intensively. So through that process, my twin sister and I took the lessons. And then we ended up getting baptized, ironically, on Christmas Day, which is right around the corner.
Nice.
I know, it was fun and
Were
wild.
they elders, sisters, and older
Yeah,
couples? What were they?
They were elders, and they were, they were young, but to us, I think it was um, they just seemed to have the answers. For me,
Mhm.
it was someone where that I actually met up, like, later years later, spoke with one of our missionaries, and he was like, "Oh, you and your twin were exactly what you would want in a convert." In the sense of, I was very analytical and would always quiz them and ask them doctrinally how things work. And my sister was one that just kind of wanted to feel, she wanted to feel peace and confirmation that that was the right path that we were going down. Yeah, so they were these cool missionaries. But looking back, they must have been babies. Do you know
They
what
were
I mean?
if you were 17, they could have been just a year older than you.
I know, they must have been babies. And but I still remember when they shared with me the Joseph Smith story, and frankly, like, now years later, you understand the profound impact of what they shared. Like,
Mhm.
you understand, as you've had confirmation after confirmation after experience over the course of years, that tells you like how, the depth of what you were learning. But at the time, all I felt was just this light when they shared that with me, and I just remember feeling hooked when they did it. Like, hooked in the sense that I had felt that one, like, peace before, that type of peace once before, and I was like, "Whatever it's gonna take, I'm in." Like, I'm committed. In fact, I asked them if I could be I asked them if I could be baptized, and was like, "Hey, can you, like, I'm ready to be baptized. Let's get this going." And the elder was like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa. Like, you need to learn about the Book of Mormon first before
Mhm.
you dive into getting baptized." But I just remember feeling, um such like a wholesomeness and such like an essence of light, that I just wanted that. So, yeah, that's my story.
That's wonderful.
Oh,
Did
that's cool.
was there one specific thing that sticks out in your head where they said, "Megan, this," and then you went, "Oh, wait a minute. That really
No,
makes sense."
you know, not particularly. Again, I always think about it doctrinally, about, like, I always think about, was there something that resonated with me more than others?
Right, that I guess that's
And
what I'm asking, yeah.
yeah, no, there wasn't anything. What, like I said about the Joseph Smith story, for some reason, I think that was my pinpoint, that was my pivotal story, because here he was, this young kid that was just seeking answers in the same way, like, I was seeking answers.
Mhm.
I hadn't found them yet. I was very eager to, I knew that I was lacking a connection with God, but I didn't know how to bridge that and to have like a good relationship with him. Um and so when they shared this story with me, it just made it it made sense with to me personally, because he had been, just a young kid himself, and
Right,
he also he had gone through such tough times where people were trying to discredit him, or they were trying to tell him, "No, like, you didn't see what you saw," or anything like that. But he couldn't deny what his personal conviction, and like what had really happened to him. And that's how I felt when I talked with the missionaries, is that it was that story itself. Because, Dan, when they spoke with me, they had such a light in their eyes. And having, because later on in life, I served, later on in my life, you know but I served a mission,
oh,
and
wow.
still the most powerful experience to me was sharing the Joseph Smith story, because it was so, I always knew that when I shared that story, no matter who it was, that they were going to be able to feel that the spirit was going to be present, because I knew that that's how God promises you as a missionary. Like, you share this, and I'm going to be there to show to the other person that this is truth. And
Right.
that's exactly what I experienced with the missionaries, is that it was truth. Yeah, it was just cool experience.
Okay, so that kinda segues into this. What has your life been like since you found the gospel? And that could include your mission too.
Oh yeah,
Because I'd
it's
like to know
been
where you went.
I went to Texas, San Antonio,
Oh
which
my
was
gosh.
fun. It was so fun. It was a great experience for me because coming from Maryland, I think in coming from a background where I feel like I dealt with a lot of pain as a family and things along those lines. Texas is a very hospitable environment. Like the people are like, "Hey y'all," and it was just more warm and welcoming, and it helped to open me up a bit. So
Very
that
nice.
was great. So life since finding the gospel has been more it's been a journey. It's been a journey more of I think one of constant learning where which is something that really appeals to me about our church is that you're never going to learn it all and you like there's so much that's out there and you're like just touching on like what's possible in terms of what you can dive into intellectually. Um, but what I will say is that it's been one of healing. I would say it's been one of healing. And it hasn't been through these huge spiritual experiences, though I've had some. Um, but some like really strong experiences, but it's been through these constant experiences where I am sitting in sacrament meeting and I can feel the spirit or when I'm sitting with someone that I'm like a friend with that I'm ministering with that I felt that. So I feel like life since the gospel has been one. I almost want to go back on I want to adjust a little bit of what I'm saying.
Okay.
Um it's been one of joy. One of the most difficult things that I've learned that you can really feel in this life is one of joy is the emotion of joy. And what I found through the gospel is that I've been able to uncover what joy is and I've been able to live a life of joy. And it's been magnificent that way because now that I have children that are growing up in a home that is a loving home, in one where there it's an environment of like safety and nurturing and learning in having these experiences where I can look back and I feel like gratitude, just absolute gratitude. um since finding the gospel, I feel like my
Wow.
life is just altered. And Dan, I look at pictures before I went on my mission or even joined the church, and my eyes were sad. Like I look at my eyes before they were what they look like before the gospel. And I feel like the eyes are the window to the soul a little bit versus where what my eyes look like now and what my life is. I am genuinely happy. And I never thought as a 17-year-old that I would be able to have a life that's like, oh, you're going to have a good, happy life. There will be some rough moments, but you're going to genuinely like, it's going to be a good ride. And so that's what I'll say. My life since finding the gospel has been one that's been joyful. It's one that's like full of gratitude, one that's full of healing, and one that's happy compared to the kid who didn't feel those things before.
Wow. That's really profound. The being able to look back and see the light in your eyes, that the light is there now. That's really moving.
Oh, you're so nice, Dan. Thank you.
Is there anything else that, you wanted to say that we haven't had opportunity to say?
I mean, what I would say to people that are trying to find answers or seek out answers um, is that what I have found through the gospel of Jesus Christ is access to understanding Christ in a different way as a friend and as I don't want to just say as a friend, but as a real actual person. And that I found that the journey has been one where it's been as I doctrinally like try to understand things, it's been one where I find like more profound meaning in life by going along this road. Um, Yeah, and I think it's worth everybody checking out because there's something here for everyone. And it's a matter of someone just being open to it.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm so pleased to have you as a sister in the gospel, and I'm glad that both you and your sister have found the gospel, and you're raising up another generation of kids who are going to love it and continue on this great work.
Oh, thanks, Dan. Me too. I'm psyched.
Alrighty, bye bye now.
Bye.
Well, I think that went just fine.
Oh, okay, great. Thanks,
Yeah.
Dan.
Great stories, great, and I really did feel what you're talking about, that the light in your eyes and talking about Joseph Smith. While you were talking about it, I thought, here she is, she's a kid, 17, being taught by kids who are maybe 18 or 19, who are telling her a
Amen.
story about a kid who's 14 or 15,
It's
you
all
know?
relatable.
Wow.
It's all relatable. It's also interesting because I feel like all of us are seeking answers, and then we're all at different paths in our journey, in the gospel, out of the gospel, where it's just like we're all just seeking. There are just times where it ebbs and flows, more like this Christmas season, it's easy to believe and it's easy to be like, oh, because you see the joy around you. But there are other times where like you're in the monotony of your day to day and stuff like that. And you have to just remember, no, it's bigger than this. Do you know what I
Right,
mean?
right,
Yeah.
right, right.
Now, what made you start this, by the way, Dan? And how have people been responding to doing interviews?
But, you know what? I've talked, um I was sitting well, first question first, is I was in, fast and testimony meeting, and I just realized that, uh, the stories that I really like when people get up there are when people start talking about their conversion stories, and I was thinking, "Okay, well, what makes converts special?" And I realized that, we're all on a spectrum of how much we believe, but to become a convert, you have to hit a certain mark before you're willing to change your life.
Hmm.
And so I thought, well, those are the stories I really like. And then my brother-in-law he and I used to do a radio show, and he's doing a political podcast. I said, well, maybe I'll just see if there's room for a podcast for converts because I've noticed lately lots of anti-Mormon podcasts coming up. And I
Yeah.
said, you know what? I don't know what I can do, but I'm gonna fight it. I'm gonna do what I can to fight that onslaught. And this is what came into mind, is to do the LDS, Converts podcast, because you guys have such great stories.
Oh, well, you're the one who's putting in, like surfacing it all. And I'm glad you followed that impression because I do feel like at this time I mean, there's always antagonism, but I do feel like, um, I don't know, the morality of the world is kind of just shifting. You can feel the shift
I feel
too.
it. I feel it, and man, every day, you know, you I turn on YouTube and all my thumbnails come up with what I can watch, and I go, "Is the world just full of stupid people and evil people? What are they doing?"
And the content's awful, Dan. Like it's not necessarily I won't say all of it, but the majority of it is not there's not like anything necessarily fulfilling from it. It's not helping you necessarily to like gain a skill set or to think critically
Yeah,
or yeah, it's just or expand your
so just
brain.
vapid. It's just vapid and empty.
Yeah, it honestly is. I should use that word with my kids because I'm like, this is just bad. This is bad content, and I want you guys to watch stuff that actually edifies you and actually like teaches you something. And I'm not saying like we all like stuff that's funny but there's like funny, and then there's like going really really low below the line. And
Right.
I'm just glad that I'm glad that through discernment we can learn these things. So yeah, thank you for putting it on. That's very good of you.
Very welcome, and I appreciate
But
your time.
everyone's a convert, right, Dan? So it's
Everyone's
like
humble. Oh, which
everyone is.
answers the other question. I've asked 200 people. I'm
Mhm.
just kinda 'cause I'm keeping track of how many say yes. I've asked 200 people, and out of those 200 people, I've done 12, and I've got another 10 people who say yes, but I can't get them to commit to a time.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Oh, so you mean like you've had 12 people on the show
yeah,
or like on your
I think you're number 12
okay.
or thereabouts.
That's and what was your other question then? Is it to how to get people to come
Uh,
on?
you asked me how, yeah, how is it being received? And I said, well, it's
Oh,
received well.
yeah.
I had a cop who I guess he saw a cop who is not a member. I was going to the gas station across the street here, and he saw one of these episodes. I guess I don't know how it leaked over to him, but he saw me doing this, and he was really impressed. He said, "I watched it." You know, he's a Baptist, being here in the South, but he said, "Man, I was just really impressed with the gospel knowledge that your guest had, and that you had," and he was really touched. So,
Oh.
and then I've heard other people saying great things about it, but they're all people who know me, but this guy, just a random guy.
No, I thought it was good. I also like, personally, Dan, because like, people don't have the time to listen to, like, a half an hour show or anything like
Right.
that. I like that yours are, like, and I like, when my sister was there, she was holding her baby.
Mhm.
That's a mom who's holding, and she's, going through a separation, and it was just like, it just felt like you were in their home with them, and I like that. Like, I saw my sister, and then I saw another guy that you interviewed who's at, like, his kitchen table, and he was just talking about his experience, and he met someone, who invited him. What was it? Like, his partner, like, she was a member, or the girl he was dating was a member. He wasn't, and then he would attend their family activities and things like that, and then eventually he ended up
Yeah. Oh,
joining
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
church.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Yeah. It was
Um,
just, like, very unapproachable. Do you like, or not like, not unapproachable. He was very approachable, and
right.
I felt like these people that you had on were, like, your every, like, you know, everyday person that you would wanna sit and speak to, and I feel
It's
like that's different
it's
than.
nice to s it's nice to see that you're a normal person. It's
Yeah,
nice to
and
see that I'm a normal person, that we're just people instead of
yeah.
some, you know imagination or imaginary stereotype or some wacko, because
No, I
everybody's getting
totally
fed
agree.
stuff. But you're right, to see your sister there with just a little baby and to realize, man, she's got a hard road in front of her. I don't know, she's got 5 or 6 kids, and
Yeah,
she's
5
by
babies.
herself, man, and she's a young woman, and God bless her, and how many other people have been in that situation, you know?
Exactly, and they're like, how many people, like, the other guy that I watched, that you knew his name, when he was saying, like, "I came in, everybody else knew, like, they were members, had been members for a long time, I'm
James,
new to it."
yeah.
He felt like they all knew more, and the reality is, like, we all don't know what we're doing. We're just, I mean, we're just making steps to try to, and we're figuring it out. We're, like, day by day. Do you know
As
what I
we're
mean?
going.
So,
Yeah.
mhm, so it's great. I really do enjoy it. So thank you for putting it on. I'm glad that you followed that prompting, and that it's these, like,
Thank you.
these stories that people can take to heart.
If
So,
If you happen to know any other converts, send them my way, because I'm putting everybody on who will come on.
oh, I will. Yeah, I will. I totally will. I can think of one person in my ward. I'll reach out to him and see if he'd be game. He's a
Awesome.
solid guy, so I think he would be.
Uh, Very nice.
All right. Well, this was fun. Thanks for taking the time.
I'm
And
glad
if
to
there's
know you.
anything else that you need, like, let me
I
know.
I do. Wait, stop. I have
Oh,
something.
okay.
My
Sure.
sister she hasn't done it yet. She's gonna start this week. She's
Uh-huh.
gonna do a podcast talking to people who went on missions
Oh, I'd be happy to.
and have okay,
Absolutely.
I'm gonna give her your contact. Her name
Yeah,
is
please.
her name is Tracy Lee.
Yeah, I would love to, because it's also like, I was the first person in my family to serve a mission, and it was just like, it's just an awkward experience. Do you know what I mean? Because you don't know what clothes to buy. At least it's probably better now than 20 years ago. Do you know what I mean? But,
Yeah,
or yeah, but 20 years ago, I was like, I was buying all the wrong things. I didn't know how to adjust. The culture shock was a bit,
sure,
you know.
sure. Been there, done
But
that.
oh my gosh, yeah. Where did you serve? Sorry, I'm wearing my second pair of
Bangkok.
glasses.
I went to
Oh my
Bangkok,
gosh,
Thailand.
how was that?
Yeah, well, I went there, I'm old, I'm 66. I went
Oh,
there
we're all there.
right as the Vietnam War had ended just a couple well, the Americans had pulled out. So Thailand was still fighting the war, and several times I was in border towns, and there were machine gun fire and grenade fire and
Wow.
stuff like that, and I went the whole 2 years and didn't no one I taught joined the church. I baptized
Wow.
one girl on my last day. The sister, thank you, sister missionaries, walked into the yard and said, "What are you doing?" Because I'm packing my suitcases on a rickshaw to go to the train station. I said, "Well, I'm done. I've been here 2 years. I'm going home." They said, "Too bad you're not catching the 3 o'clock train, or you could baptize our girl today at noon." I said, "I'm catching the 3 o'clock train."
And
Yeah.
then you took your suitcases and you're like, "We're gonna postpone,"
Yeah.
and
I
then
took
I'll
my
get there.
suitcases, missed the 10 o'clock train, did the baptism, got on the 3 o'clock train.
That's
And
cool.
yeah, that was on my way out of the country. And
How was that, looking back, did you feel like it was more for you going on a
oh,
mission
oh,
than
absolutely.
the people that you taught?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. When I was there, there were like 10 or 12 branches and one ward. The ward was all white people in Bangkok, and a lot of them were soldiers and a lot of them were government. And the branches were all mostly women, and I just thought there was no hope for the country. And I every day we went out and had no success. And it just told me 1,000 times plus I in my life I've said, you know what? I can get through this hardship because I've been through a mission where there was no hope. Where I
Mm,
every day I got up and just did it because it's what God wanted me to do. I can do life. I can be immortal for 100 years
mhm,
because I've done a mission. For it was only 2 years, and it showed me that I could do hard things. Before that, I
and
was just a kid worried about myself. But after that, man, a sensitive spirit and a longing to be in the gospel and to love people and to serve people. That's
mm.
that's what I learned.
And then, Dan, and sorry to, like, keep you, um do you feel like that's what your main takeaway was from serving a mission? Was that it was like, looking, because you know how you serve a mission and then you look back and you're like, "Gosh, I was such a baby at that time." And then you
So
see, like, I know I wouldn't be sitting here today had I not served. Do
right.
you know what I mean? Do you feel like that's the case for
Yeah, I
you?
feel like yes, I'm with you. I saved me, or Jesus saved me on my mission, you know?
Yeah.
I
Mhm.
Any good I did is negligible, except that my life was completely changed afterwards.
Hmm. No, thanks for sharing that. You
Yeah.
should share that on your sister's podcast.
She's gonna practice on me and her daughter and, one or 2 other cousins we have in the ward here. She's gonna practice on us, and then she's gonna call you.
That sounds great. I'm happy to. Where are you guys based? Where's your sister based?
She and I live just a couple miles from each other, but I'm in Louisiana, she's in Texas.
Okay,
I
cool.
live
Very
right on the
cool.
state line, yeah, we're by Texarkana, you know where it is? As far away as you can get from, San Antonio and still be in the state of Texas is where we are.
Hey, that's great. It's still the state of Texas. Everything's bigger in Texas. I got teased relentlessly about living in a small state. They're like, "You live in that tiny state of Maryland?" I sure do. Glad to be here.
Yeah,
Oh man. Well, it's nice chatting with you. I wish you a Merry Christmas. And yeah, let me know if there's anything else that I can do, or if you ever want to jump back on, I'm happy
yep,
to. But
yep,
yes, please give your sister my number. And if I have anyone in the ward that I can think of one gentleman. I will give him your name.
and if you ever come to Texas or Louisiana again, holler at us and we'll take you to dinner.
Oh, you're so sweet. I'm just impressed that you're. I feel like this type of work is a calling. Do you know what I mean? I
I'm
really
feeling it.
do.
I had another channel called Easy Three Chord Country, where for the last couple of years I've been teaching guitar lessons online on YouTube, and just about to the point where I'm going to monetize. And as soon as I got this feeling to do this, I just almost completely abandoned the other channel. It holds no love or luster for me now. This is
Mm.
what I'm feeling. This is in my heart, and this is what I think about all the time is getting the word out.
Aw. I hope it continues to spread, especially during these times. So, Merry Christmas to you and your family.
You too. God bless. Good knowing you, Megan.
You too. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.